The SLUM by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender was an English poet. He attended Oxford University and fought in the Spanish Civil War. In 1920s and 30s, he associated with other poets and socialists, and his early poetry was often inspired by social protest. Spender's book of poetry include 20 poems, Vienna, The Still Center, Poems of Dedication, The Generous Days. Spender was professor of English at University College London from 1970 to 77, and he gave frequent lecture tours in the United States. In an elementary school classroom in a slum, he has concentrated on the themes of social justice and class inequalities. Stanza 1. Far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's snarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. In stanza 1, Stephen Spender describes an elementary school in a slum by using the image of despair and disease. The children's faces are not like the usual ones that are full of energy. They are like rootless weed. Rootless weed is a simile, it is a poetic device. Their hair falls unkept around the pale faces. The tall girl hangs her head as if she is exhausted. The poet expands on the miserable existence of slum dwellers, children, by suggesting that they are underdeveloped and like rodents. A very sickly, lean boy has rat's eye. The children are underdeveloped and have inherited the diseased bones from their parents. This implies diseased generation. The classroom is equally dull, some and pathetic. There is one child who is sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream. The child's desire to be a squirrel playing in a hollow tree, which ironically reflects the imagery of the present situation. These children do not know the reality of life. Stanza 2. On saw cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized doom, riding all cities. Belled flowery, Trilose Valley, open-handed map. Awarding the world its word, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Far, far from rivers, capes and stars of woods. In stanza 2, the walls of the classroom are dull. The poet says, they need to be repainted. There are many things that have to be donated. There are many things that have been donated on their walls. The picture of a clear sky at dawn and a beautiful Tyrolese valley indicate the nature and hope. This contradicts the condition of the slum dwellers. The poet says, civilized doom riding all cities. Here, the doom is that of an ancient city building, standing for civilization and progress, and a world map awarding the children the world. Doom represents the constructed houses in cities. But for the children in the slum, these things mentioned in the textbooks are not relevant because they do not live in a constructed house. Stephen Spender says that if education is supposed to open doors or windows to other worlds, surely it has failed in this instance. When you take the example of these slum children, education totally failed to liberate the children both physically and intellectually from their restricted existence, and they are not elevated from their poverty. Thus it seems that the Shakespeare and the pretty Triolan has perpetrated a fraud on these children. The poet says their futures painted with a fog. Fog means obscurities. The life of slum children are removed from the beautiful, enlightened world. The narrow street symbolizes restricted life. The words lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words simply implies a bleak future. Stanza 3. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example. With ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that sillily turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night, on their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass. like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum. So, blot their maps with slums as big as doom. In Stanza C, the poet says that the study of Shakespeare is wicked because it tempts the children to liberate themselves from their mundane lives. The maps of the foreign lands are a bad example because they give children ideas of escape, but it is not attainable or it is not possible for these children in the slums. From fog to endless night, it refers to uncertainty to darkness in their life. Diseases found in the school classroom premises is reflected in these faces: slag heap, skins peeped through by bones. The phrase spectacles of steel with mended glass depict the extreme poverty in the slum. Children are malnourished and wear spectacles that are very old and repaired time and again. Like bottle bits on stones is a simile. They are so weak that their bones are visible inside their undernourished skin. The children are forced to live in their foggy slum, and the map of their future is irreparably blotted by fog, says the poet. He says the life in a slum is as big as doom. Here, the poet uses a simile where he mentions that the life in a slum is worse than death. He questions the value of education in this stanza. Will the education liberate them from poverty? The maps are windows into the bigger, greener, sunnier world of them, an escape from their tomb-like existence. These windows hold the key to freedom. So, what happens? These maps and all whatever they learn is a key to freedom. Education is a key to freedom. It is thus a transition into a more hopeful note in the third stanza. In the third stanza, he says that education is key to freedom. Stanza 4. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run ozzer on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and the green leaves open, history there whose language is the sun. Stanza 4 is optimistic, unless the rest of the poem. Here, the poet says the governor, the inspector, the teacher, the visitor, whoever comes to the slum, they help in freeing the children from the bondage. The imprisoned minds and lives of the school children are magically released from their bondage. The poet imagines that liberated children are running on the gold sands and delving into their books. When the children are liberated, the inextinguishable spirit of human creativity will then abide them. Here the poet says, break, oh break. He desperately wants the children should break out of the catacombs. Catacombs refers to burial chambers, implying the near-death existence of the children. He wants the children to be liberated from their slums. Only then these children will truly be liberated, and the spirit of creativity will bind those children whose language is the sun. He concludes by saying that at least a few of these children can be elevated from poverty with the help of education, or if not all of them, at least a few of them can achieve great heights. For detailed notes and question answers, log on to edugurunotes.blogspot.com. Thank you.